Let's start with our first news. Carlos Ulberg is currently rehabbing his knee following surgery after suffering a torn ACL during his fight with Yuri Prochazka. The injury happened in the middle of the bout, where the movement and pressure exchanges led to a serious setback that forced him to undergo immediate medical evaluation. Doctors confirmed the ACL tear, and he has since gone through surgery to repair the damage. At this stage, Carlos Ulberg is fully focused on recovery. He is working through a structured rehabilitation program designed to restore strength, stability, and mobility in the knee. The process is expected to take time, as ACL injuries are among the most demanding recoveries in combat sports. However, early reports suggest that he is responding well to treatment and staying disciplined throughout the rehab phase. His team remains optimistic about his return, emphasizing that the priority is not rushing back, but ensuring he comes back at full fitness. Strength training, physiotherapy, and controlled movement drills are all part of his daily routine. The goal is to rebuild the knee gradually while avoiding any setbacks. During this period, there has also been discussion around the fight itself and how the injury impacted the overall performance. Fans and analysts noted that Ulberg was competing at a high pace before the injury occurred, showing sharp striking and strong control in exchanges. The sudden ACL tear, however, changed the momentum of the bout completely. In unrelated commentary, there was also a brief mention of another sporting observation where it was said, I think they played their best basketball upcoming Utah. This remark seemed disconnected from the fighting discussion, but it was noted during the conversation flow. For now, Carlos Ulberg remains out of competition as he continues to heal. His return timeline will depend on how his knee responds in the coming months, but the focus remains clear: recovery, rebuilding, and preparing for a strong comeback when fully cleared by medical staff. Medical staff will continue monitoring his progress closely over the next few months, adjusting his rehabilitation plan based on recovery milestones and strength tests. The expectation is a gradual return to full sparring once stability is confirmed, with no shortcuts taken in the process. His camp is prioritizing long-term durability over short-term returns, ensuring that when he steps back into competition, he is fully prepared for elite-level action. Move on to another news at the start. Today, let's get started with Strickland. Continues to trash Khamzat. We're less than 3 weeks away from UFC 328, and as we get closer, these two just can't seem to stop talking about each other. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. As reported, Khamzat and Strickland keep going at it. From Khamzat's comments to Strickland sharing his location, the antics continue toward fight night. Previously, Strickland posted a Chris Hansen meme featuring himself, Khamzat, and a baby goat. After that, a fan commented mocking Khamzat for not pulling up to Strickland, writing, "I kill you in streets," and then proceeding to not show up. Strickland reacted by referencing Khamzat's run-in with Paulo Costa at the UFC Performance Institute back in 2022. He wrote, LMAO, look what happened when Costa pulled his card, hold me back, bro. Then he posted another message today that was not safe for YouTube. In comments, a fan asked his game plan for UFC 328 and Strickland replied, bacon oil. All verbal jabs continue, but fans hope it stays verbal until fight night. Strickland has also been training with Alex Pita again to prepare for Khamzat fight. He is sparring with heavyweight Pita, who is preparing for heavyweight debut, the same fighter who previously KO'd Strickland at 185. Before sparring, Strickland told Nina Drama he felt a bit angry and noted Pita looked aggressive. He added he did not want to go hard and mentioned PTSD from past sessions. In sparring, Pita went to work aggressively, but Strickland held his ground throughout the exchanges. Paulo Costa remains part of the wider conversation. The sessions between Strickland and Pita have been described as intense, with both fighters pushing pace and testing durability in close exchanges. Coaches around them believe these rounds are sharpening timing and defensive reactions ahead of upcoming fights. Strickland continues to balance humor and aggression in his media presence, often turning controversy into attention before fight night. Meanwhile, Khamzat remains a central figure in the build-up, as both camps trade verbal pressure and psychological games. As UFC 328 approaches, the tension continues to build across interviews, social posts, and training clips, keeping fans locked into every new development around the matchup and surrounding storylines involving Paulo Costa and other fighters building momentum daily. Move on to another news at the start. Aljamain Sterling reacting to Arman Tsarukyan move to featherweight. Arman recently said he could drop down to featherweight for his next bout and potentially challenge the division's king, Alexander Volkanovski. The idea immediately sparked reactions across the MMA world, with many fighters weighing in on what it would mean for the already stacked 145 division. Speaking with MMA Junkie, Aljamain Sterling addressed the comments while preparing for his own upcoming fight this Saturday against Youssef Zal. He was asked directly about Arman's potential move and whether it would bother him if Arman entered the featherweight division. Sterling made it clear he would not be annoyed at all if Arman decided to cut down. However, he also emphasized that nothing would be handed over easily. He stated that Arman would not automatically cut the line or jump ahead of contenders. Instead, he would have to face the top-ranked fighters first, before getting anywhere near a title shot. Sterling explained that if Arman truly wants to come down, then he is welcome to do so, because the featherweight division is full of talent and competition. He stressed that nobody at 145 is looking to avoid challenges, and every contender is ready for pressure fights. He went on to list several names within the division, pointing out the depth of elite competition. He mentioned fighters like Yair, Rodriguez, Ilia Silva, and others who are constantly in the mix. He also highlighted the rise of new talent, including Kevin Vose's young prospect and the surging newcomer Larion Douglas, who has been gaining attention for his recent performances. Sterling made it clear that featherweight is not a place where anyone gets an easy path. According to him, every fight in the division is a serious test, and no matchup is a cakewalk. His tone suggested respect for Arman's skills, but also confidence in the strength of the 145 roster. The comments reflect a broader reality in MMA, where divisions are becoming increasingly competitive at the top level. While Arman's potential move is seen as intriguing, many believe it would require careful matchmaking and proven victories before any title opportunity becomes realistic. Elsewhere in the division, Brian Ortega has also been discussing possible changes, including talks around a move to lightweight, adding even more uncertainty and interest to the evolving landscape of the UFC rankings. Move on to another news at the start. Today we have new UFC fights officially announced. It has been confirmed by Marcel Dorff that a solid matchup is set for UFC 329, as a bantamweight rematch between Corey Sanhagen and Mario Bautista is scheduled for July 11th. This fight brings back a history that dates all the way to 2019, when the two first met inside the octagon. In that first encounter, Corey Sanhagen secured a dominant win, finishing Bautista in the very first round with an armbar submission. Fast forward to 2026, and both fighters are in completely different positions. Sanhagen is coming off a tough decision loss to Merab back in October, when Merab was still holding the championship. That fight tested Sanhagen at the highest level and showed just how close he is to another title push despite the setback. On the other side, Mario Bautista enters this rematch with momentum. We last saw him compete in February, where he picked up a strong victory over Vinicius Oliveira, securing a rear naked choke submission in the second round. That win added another finish to his resume and strengthened his position in the bantamweight rankings. With both fighters bringing recent experience and history into the matchup, UFC 329 now gains a highly competitive rematch that fans have been waiting to see play out again. In another bantamweight booking, Bryce Mitchell is set to face Victor Henry at the UFC Fight Night card on June 6th in Las Vegas. The fight was first reported by Dorff and originally came from Henry's coach, Josh Barnett, confirming the matchup. Victor Henry has not fought since April 2025, when he earned a decision win over Pedro Falcao. Over his last 5 fights, he has gone 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 no contest, showing a mixed but active recent run. Bryce Mitchell, meanwhile, is also returning after some time away. He is coming off a decision win over Sedgameov last July, marking his latest appearance in the octagon. Both fighters now look to re-establish momentum in a division where every win matters. Adding to the same card, another bout has been confirmed featuring Marcus McGee and Jakob Viklox. This matchup was also reported by Marcel Dorff and brings more depth to an already busy fight night lineup. Marcus McGee returns to action for the first time since last July, where he suffered a decision loss to Peter Yan. His opponent Viklox last fought in February, where he secured a submission victory over Muin Gafarov with a guillotine choke, continuing his finishing momentum heading into this next challenge. Move on to another news at the start today. We have Arman calling out Merab in a wrestling challenge. Arman recently posted footage of himself directly challenging Merab to a wrestling match at RAF, escalating the rivalry with confidence and intensity. In the video, Arman can be seen pushing the idea of a straight wrestling contest, insisting he would come out on top. During the exchange, Arman tells Merab that he would beat him 10-7, clearly expressing his belief in his own wrestling advantage. He says he will be fresh and ready, emphasizing his physical condition and preparation. Arman also acknowledges Merab's strength, but remains firm in his prediction of victory. He continues pushing the challenge, saying, "You better wrestling 10-10 U7," repeating the score idea and reinforcing his confidence. He then adds that there would be no score given freely and insists that he would still control the match outcome. Arman becomes more direct as he says he beats Merab in wrestling and pushes for the matchup to happen. He states clearly, "Let's make it happen. It's up to you," signaling that he is ready whenever Merab agrees. The conversation then shifts toward logistics, where Arman suggests he is willing to go first in the match format. He argues that Merab does not want 2 matches in one night, implying that recovery and endurance would become a factor in such a setup. Arman insists he would compete first, setting the tone for how the challenge should be structured. As the exchange continues, weight classes are brought into discussion. Arman asks about Merab's weight, and the conversation lands on 155. Arman responds that he is also 150 to 155, reinforcing that they are in a similar range and making the challenge even more realistic in his view. Throughout the call-out, Arman maintains a confident and competitive tone, focusing entirely on wrestling superiority and direct competition. The footage highlights his willingness to engage in high-level grappling exchanges and his belief that he can outperform Merab in that specific area. The challenge adds another layer to the ongoing competitive narrative in the division, with Arman making it clear he is open to proving himself in a pure wrestling setting against one of the most dominant grapplers in the sport. Move on to another news at the start. Today we are looking at Dana White being called out by fighters over UFC changes. Criticism around Dana White and the UFC continues to build, with fighters, media figures, and even other promoters speaking out. In recent weeks, he has faced backlash over fighter pay, and also for how he has responded to concerns from fans and critics. A major point of debate has been the UFC's use of AI in promotional content, which has sparked strong reactions across the MMA community. Recently, Darren Till appeared on Ariel Helwani's show and did not hold back when discussing the UFC and Dana White. Till expressed frustration over what he sees as declining promotion quality and a lack of star power in the current era. He suggested that the product no longer feels as exciting as it once did. Till stated that he does not want to disrespect Dana White personally, but believes his ego has grown too much. He claimed Dana has become disconnected from the UFC product and said he no longer regularly watches events because he struggles to recognize many of the fighters. According to Till, the events are not as juicy as they used to be, and the promotion has fewer major stars than before. He also criticized the media environment around UFC scrums, suggesting reporters are often afraid to ask real questions. Till argued that when tough questions are asked, Dana tends to shut them down or respond with frustration instead of giving detailed answers. He called for more openness and less ego in public interactions. At the same time, Renato Moano also spoke on Ariel Helwani's platform and addressed the ongoing AI controversy. Unlike Dana's defenders, Moano was openly critical of the UFC's approach. He said he did not like the use of AI-generated promotional material and believes it disrespects fans. Moano explained that as both a fighter and a fan, he finds the direction concerning. He criticized a recent AI concept involving major fighters, saying it felt sloppy and unnecessary. He also suggested that placing fighters in unrealistic AI-generated scenes does not add value to promotions and instead reduces authenticity. Despite the criticism, there is still speculation that the UFC may continue experimenting with AI, possibly alongside traditional promotional shoots for major events. Outside of UFC discussions, Darren Till has also signed a new deal with BKFC, confirming a massive 3-fight contract. He is set to face Bellator veteran Aaron Chalmers in his bare-knuckle debut on May 30th in Birmingham, England, a matchup expected to draw major attention in the UK combat sports scene. Move on to another news at the start. Today we are covering reactions from Paulo Costa and Magomed Ankalaev to comments made by Jiří Prochazka. Jiří recently doubled down on his mercy comments following his fight with Carlos Ulberg, and despite heavy backlash from fans and fighters, he did not walk anything back in his latest video statement. Instead, he stood firm on his words and even addressed critics directly, naming Paulo Costa and Ankalaev among others. In his video, Jiří explained that he believes he was only fighting at around 40 to 50% of his true performance. He described the fight as more controlled, saying he was essentially sparring and waiting for the referee to step in at any moment. He admitted that this approach may have been a mistake, calling it one of the biggest lessons from the bout. However, Jiří made it clear he does not want to dwell on it too much. He stated that the most important thing is to learn from the experience and move forward stronger. He then directly responded to critics, including Costa and Ankalaev, referring to them as so-called experts before blowing a kiss toward the camera, clearly sending a message of confidence and dismissal. It did not take long for reactions to come in. Paulo Costa fired back immediately, rejecting Jiří's comments and telling him, "Don't hate me, hate your bad decisions." His response, was short, direct, and clearly aimed at shutting down the idea that Jiri was not fully challenged in the fight. Magomed Ankalaev also responded through his official social media account, taking a more blunt approach. He wrote, "Yuri, fake news. You got knocked out. Simple. Don't make excuse." His message made it clear he disagreed completely with Jiri's version of events and felt the outcome of the fight spoke for itself. The situation has now added another layer of tension between top fighters in the division, with public disagreements spilling into interviews, social media, and post-fight analysis. While Jiri continues to frame the fight as a learning experience with controlled effort, Costa and Ankalaev have pushed back hard, insisting the result was definitive and requires no reinterpretation. Elsewhere in the MMA world, Dana White has also been facing increasing criticism from fighters and fans over UFC changes, including fighter pay discussions and the use of AI in promotional content, adding to a wider wave of debate surrounding the direction of the organization.